I'm Shane.
I'm Bo.
We are your Kentucky Fried Critics.
One more time, let's run it back.
Here again, guys. Episode 40.
Nice.
Another round number.
I love
for
round
us.
numbers.
Doing another one for you guys where we planned it out.
Yes.
We've been doing better about trying to think about these before they release, so that way they actually make sense with the release.
Yep.
And so in that effort, you've clicked here, but again, you guys know we still feel like we have to say this.
Yeah.
And apparently we do. And we should start saying it all the time because shorts have been on us about not saying what the movie is in the short.
To be fair, I bitch about that too.
But at the same time, you also know as a person
and then
doing
was
this,
like disappointed in myself. I was like, oh wait, I do that.
But
Shit.
well, also, how can you not like for shorts? Think about it.
Just we have to come up with like can we have like a little banner going
An
across
insert?
the bottom that just like master and commander or like what movie of the week.
Like old school like news.
Yeah, like the ticker tape.
I'll see what I can do. I can't make promises. I'll see what I can do. But yeah, we're doing Friday the 13th, part 2. We did the first one.
Part 2, the remix.
We promised you guys that we missed one. We're back. We can't only do Friday the 13th. We'll be doing this for a decade. But we will certainly Friday the 13th.
Yeah,
we'll find other
one,
reasons to get to the other ones.
But anytime there is one,
we'll have one.
Bet your ass there's going to be a Friday the 13th
whatever the next
movie.
number is. Yeah, exactly.
We'll throw some more on like Halloween and shit.
Exactly.
Like,
we'll find ways to get the other ones in.
Fuck, there's like 15 of them now, isn't there?
Well, it all
if you
depends
count
on how,
like the reboot and
if you count the reboot and you count some of
Freddy
the other
versus Jason.
There's definitely more than people realize for sure.
Should we do the comic books?
We start with the movies is going to be
I was gonna say once we're done with them, like 10 years from now when we're done with those, we'll just
15. I was like, dude, Bo, what are you
start
trying to
doing
saddle
the
us
comic
on
book
here? I'm not going to argue my favorite killer, my favorite franchise. So I'm not going to argue if that's what we want to do. But again, like it would take us a while to get there if we just go through the movies first.
Well, I have stuff to live for now.
Yeah. But especially since again, like we said, we're here for 2. This one, it's a fun one.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
like
different
this one.
I think I'm on record already when we talked about the first one. 2's, it's weird. It stands out in the franchise.
Yeah.
It's way different because this is, it's Jason, different than you see. Like
it's just a guy.
Well, in the first one, you see a little kid.
Yeah,
that is
deformed
Jason.
And shit.
But it's always questionable on whether she saw that or she didn't or what's going on. Right? Like we don't really know what's going on with that. But then after 2, the franchise starts to get into the supernatural a little bit, right? And so after that, you're just like, okay, well, whatever. That was just
he's a zombie.
It's something to do with supernatural. That's why he aged up after tipping the
something about hate, right? Like the hate is so strong, he just won't die.
Whatever we need, right? But there's easily we can just
that might be Michael Myers. Actually.
We can suspend belief to know that little kid was the same dude later. This movie stands out because it's the movie that expects you to think he's a dude.
Yep,
he's just a guy. Dude. He's just been living in the woods.
The kid didn't die. He didn't drown. His mom somehow didn't know that he was just living in the woods.
100%
for like 25 years.
The craziest part
until she decides to do the shit in the first movie.
The craziest part of this movie is that, right? Is the fact that they want you. I'm down for a grounded killer.
Yeah.
If you want to do that. The only reason it might stand out to us to have the grounded Jason is because we're so used to
the psycho zombie Jason point, who's like a foot taller than he is now.
Kane Hodder, God bless it, dude.
Woo.
This is before he was there, obviously. This is not Kane Hodder. But yeah, this is one of those things where, like, we all have that in our head, so we do kind of be like, well, this Jason takes us out. Well, you gotta think when it came out, oh, whatever. A grounded killer still works for if you wanted to do that. Except for the fact that, again, we have to believe that this dude watched his mom slowly go into insanity and start killing people, let her do it twice. Yeah. Remember, she did it once early, and then she was doing it again.
Yep.
So he let her kill people on a rampage twice while watching from the woods.
Just kind of sitting on a rock.
Hearing her
Go, Mom.
sob about him and wishing he was alive, and then thinking she was him, and I
should probably go down there.
He
Maybe I should talk to her.
Never thought Mom deserves to know I'm here.
Right. Could have solved a lot of issues if he just walked out of the tree line one day like, Mommy!
And then to be it all, the movie goes the extra mile to say not only was that the case, but he also watched his mom
get
die.
killed.
That he was literally off in the shadows that we couldn't
30
see.
feet away, just off camera, what are they doing?
No. Someone should just splice in a split second of the in the
like
first one with his
POV
boots
shot.
in the shadows
Yeah, right.
behind the canoe or something, right? Like, just that
we
way
could
we
do
can
it.
know it.
Come on, we can do it.
We live in an age
close
where it'd
up
be
shot,
so easy.
and then we can
We'll
do the grainy filter to make it look like 35 millimeter.
We just steal it from 2. We just steal some random dark shot of his boot in
And
2
just
and
cut it
put
in.
Yeah, dude, that's like straight up do this like the way Troma would do it. You
That
know what I'm
is
saying?
easier.
Like easy cut.
My way, I get to play with cameras and stuff.
I
though.
agree, but we'd also have to get the cameras.
That's true. You can probably do it on your phone here.
Maybe it might. Probably. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see, Bo. We'll see what we can do.
Wait.
Maybe that's.
For it. We're gonna try this.
Maybe that's the next KFC project.
Yeah, there we go.
Like the non-podcasting. We've got other podcast ideas. We're gonna stream.
Yeah.
Maybe the next one after that. Although I think we did mention food once too, didn't we?
We could
do
do
like a
cooking
KFC food channel.
Yeah, we fucking both cook. I went to
I
culinary
know,
school.
but that's what I'm saying. Like, man, where are we gonna get to the productions channel where we make our own stuff? That would be so far down the line at this point. I do appreciate that we have lofty goals.
I was gonna say we may have to reshift some stuff in priority.
Hey, once the money starts rolling in, I'm good. Let's do whatever.
Yeah, there we go.
Let's do whatever. I'm for it.
We'll spam the entire place. We'll be like fucking the Smosh of fucking
or any of them. They all do.
They
it
all
now.
have
They have
the
multiple
fucking, like, the
channels
multiple
with like
shit.
lots of things. Yeah, it's a commonplace.
We're
thing.
gonna call them each like Kentucky Fried something.
Yeah, of course.
We'll do Kentucky Fried Cooking, Kentucky Fried Productions.
Well, no. Here's the thing. Wouldn't the cinemas? We want to
Kentucky
try to keep
Fried
the
Cinemas,
C
I like
in it.
that.
We
I
want
like
to keep
that
the
better.
KFC, right? Like that's the thing. It's got to be Kentucky Fried whatever.
Yeah, I like that.
With a C.
Kentucky Fried Cinema, I like that.
Or something. You know what I'm saying? Like we'll figure it out. But yeah, it's got to be a C. I think we can do this.
History Channel, Kentucky
We're gonna
Fried
bust
Century.
We're gonna be busting out the thesaurus.
Kentucky Fried Century for the History Channel.
Oh yeah, you get what I'm saying though. Like we can do this, dude. We can do this for sure. We're already ahead of the game. Look at that. That's a good segue point before we get into this. Again, just that way everybody is aware. Keeping the format change.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to know. Short form. Maybe a little tighter knit. Not as loose as last.
Last week was an experiment.
Well, and it was on the fly.
Yeah, because we were like...
It was like, he walked in the door and I said, "You think?" And he was like, "I think." You know, like there was almost no words needed. We both like, yeah,
all day if we hadn't.
And so
if we'd have scene by scene Master and Commander,
oh yeah,
great episode, go watch. But it'd have been a fucking 5-hour episode.
It would have been a different episode for sure. But it would
have been longer than most people's like compilations of like multiple shit, right?
But we also just enjoyed that because again, if you've listened to the old stuff, you know that we both have a tendency to go on tangents, usually still about the movie, just not the scenes. And then we lost from scenes and we don't know.
It's okay. We still have notes.
We have notes.
Keep us
we
on
still
track.
know where we're going. Well, there's no track. That's the beauty here, right? Well, there's a loose track. There's a soft track, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
just whisper it gently into the microphone. Track.
It's lightly on the breeze coming through with the wind.
Breeze of
right?
a track.
Right, that's all it is. But there's not like anything real structure here, which is nice for us. Again, we need
a Wes Anderson tracking shot, right? Just super slow and easy.
But we do want everybody to know. We don't know if this is permanent yet, but we are thinking maybe the rest of this season.
Yeah.
That way we've got plenty of time for people to circle in, hear it, and maybe let us know. This is the problem about podcasting. When you're not big, it's hard to get people that listen to actually tell you things.
Yeah.
We have people that
listen all the time.
Not people that comment.
We get thumbs ups all the time.
And so like right now we are desperately saying, hey, let us know. New format, old format.
Yeah.
What do you like better?
Not just a thumbs up, because that's very vague.
Do you like the meandering conversation through the movie, or do you want to hear the lost, weird, almost ADHD conversation that happens now.
Cut to next week. It's a straight 50-50, right? Like exact, just
We
straight down the
just a
middle,
little
and
bit
it's
of
like,
both.
oh god damn it.
But this is
Do
why
we just flip a coin at that point?
Well, that's
Let
why we
the
need the
gods
feedback.
decide?
We need the feedback because me and you are horrible for that, to be second guessing ourselves, to be like, well, now I don't know. Should we do it? Should we not? Maybe we'll give them both. You know, like that's how that conversation would work.
Between the two of us, we'd just be paralyzed and just keep going in a circle.
Exactly. And so to keep us from going back and forth on episodes on how we do this,
here.
let us know. So we've decided that for the rest of this season, so it's like, what, 10, 12 more episodes?
Yeah, something like that.
We do a solid 52. We know that's weird. We could drop it at 50. We give you the year.
There are 52 weeks in a year.
But the thing is, since we take a year, there's
the lovely comic book reference with the new 52.
Yes. Well, and we take a week off, which also means that it slowly drifts our anniversary to being like not when we start the next season. Yeah, it's like slowly drifts further apart. But I like that.
It's like Easter; it just shows up randomly.
Well, it's like the ellipses of a planet, right? Going around.
Yeah.
Like we're just slowly pushing it a little bit further away.
A little bit further away, like the moon,
Right?
just slowly floating off into space.
I like it. It's good.
Cue Blue Danube.
But yeah, so for like 12 more episodes or so, you're gonna have this more laid back feel, unless we get the feedback before then. We're just saying we need the feedback. If we get
huge outcry for the 4-hour episodes.
Right. You never know though, dude.
I need you guys.
You already
That's
said
how I clean my house.
Well, I was about to say you've already said that you know people that say that. I've seen, we've had at least a couple comments of people who listen to us, like the guy who does the photography stuff. He says he listens to us on his drive back from the remote locations he goes to. So he probably appreciates
a longer
long
episode. It's nice
for
a long drive.
This is why we need feedback. So seeing too much, being too much, if you're listening, buddy, tell us.
Right.
This is a direct plea to you if you are listening to this week's episode.
On our knees, man. Come on. Tell me.
Tell us which one you prefer. Again, because at least I know you're listening, right? Like
he's always listening.
Yeah, we need the feedback. So again, if no feedback, 12 episodes. If feedback, either we just tell you in an episode that we're locking in and this is permanent because the feedback was keep this. If the feedback's the other way, you'll just kind of notice because you'll be like, man, runtime for that.
They drifted back into the 3 hours, didn't they?
That seems a little bit long.
Watch us do that, and then people start bitching suddenly. Like, hey, why'd you do that?
Well, that's how it works. So you can't please everybody.
Yeah.
That's why we need the feedback. Feedback's essential so that way we can make sure we're pleasing the most people we can.
We need at least 50 comments. That way we can run the numbers and get a nice even, 25-25 on whether or not we can do this.
Well, like we said last time, we're finally at a place where we've done this long enough that we've had enough fun of saying we're doing it only for us and we don't care what you guys think. We're literally here saying, tell us.
Yeah.
Tell us what you think.
Tell me I suck. Come on. Do like anything.
Trolls come at us.
I have missing teeth.
Well, yeah.
There you go.
Trolls come at us with something other than my hair. Or better comments about the hair.
Or at least better comments about the hair. Come on, be creative.
That's a good point for us to actually get back to what I was going to say. Before we really get into our thoughts, let's say who's in the movie. We still should do this, right?
Cast and crew
are
first
very
and
important. Foremost,
important.
we actually started there, and I thought it was a good segue point, but then we just kind of rolled, and I let us go. We were talking about how the plot was insane.
Yeah.
Right? And how, like, when you think too much about it in the first one, it really falls apart.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Because of that, the original director and the original writer and Tom Savini all noped out a 2. All of them. They said, that's dumb.
Yeah, like, no, this was supposed to be a one-off.
They were like, Tom Savini has been on record at conventions and like commentaries for other projects, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. He literally was like, so you're telling me the kid survived in the woods alone and watched it? Okay.
Yeah, when Tom Savini's poking holes
when he's the
guy poking holes, you're like, why are we doing this? But then we wouldn't have got Jason in space.
Yeah, but when you're talking about, was it Isn't he the one that's responsible for the dick gun?
Yeah, the dick gun that doesn't make any sense because the fucking
It would never
the
work.
chamber's not even connected to the barrel, but it's still awesome.
Right?
So blah blah blah. Dusk
From Dusk Till Dawn.
Ah,
Yeah.
I can't say it. You did it. Good job.
I was about to say it before you started. It was one of those things where it was like just bad timing. I could have saved the flub, I guess. Man, time machines.
It's not your fault I can't speak English well. I know English good.
But yeah, so say the guy who's responsible for the penis machine gun or revolver. It was a revolver. Let's be fair to fair.
Yeah.
Because the revolvers were the nuts. But that's the man.
I want one. I just want one. I'll wear it.
But that's the man who was responsible for saying, nah, two.
Yeah, this doesn't make any fucking
that's
sense.
So dumb, I gotta walk. I gotta walk on that one. So yeah, let that sink into you about like the thought process.
Sex Machine. That's his
Sex
name
Machine.
in that fucking movie. There we go.
go.
Sex Machine poked holes in this
I'm
fucking movie.
proud that one of us got there eventually because I was like, I know
struggling
it's a name,
I'm like,
dude.
I watched this movie like 2 weeks
You were
ago.
like,
What the
recently
fuck?
enough, I should know this. I hate myself. But so like I was saying, the writer left, the director left, Tom Savini left. They brought in another guy. He ended up being.
Is that why the gore effects aren't
That's
like
why
as
all
good
of
in
it
this?
is not as good.
Ah.
So the director of this one, Stephen Miner, he was one of the producers on the first one. He was like the only guy who didn't nope out. And he was like, no, I want to do this.
Otherwise, they'd just hand it off to somebody who had nothing to do with the
think
first
about
one,
how
I guess.
it wasn't a franchise yet.
Oh,
At
yeah,
the
that's
time,
true.
It probably just would have died.
Yeah, it just wouldn't have got made.
He was like, fuck you guys.
Yeah,
I like this.
I want this paycheck. Fuck the rest of you.
So yeah, Stephen Miner is the one we can thank for the fact that we still have a franchise. Like maybe not
Yeah.
thank for this one. I don't know how everybody feels. I like this one.
I like
do.
this one. It's just it does feel.
But the vibe,
it's like out of place from the rest of them.
It's very stilted.
Yeah.
From the rest of them.
And there are scenes where it's like, okay, come on, we're just watching people walk through the fucking woods. Let's get to something.
It's very different. It's got a different feel to it. It's a little bit different. The main thing that brings you back is the. If it weren't for that, you could have called. Well, and obviously, if it weren't for that, and since we're about to get to actresses, Betsy Palmer.
Yeah.
Betsy Palmer showing up definitely seals the deal that we know this was connected to the first one.
Yeah.
But again, you cut her out. You let it be a woman, it's like his dead mom in the woods that we don't actually know the name of.
Yeah.
Totally could have sold this as a unconnected franchise.
Really could have called it.
Oh,
Something
also
else.
subtract out the beginning 18 minutes.
I'm
sorry, it's not 18.
It's only 12.
I know. In some cuts,
they shorten it.
In some cuts, apparently it was 18. On that note, we do need to mention from the first movie, other than Betsy Palmer returning for the briefest of all scenes in this one. It's
they
ridiculous.
just had her in a black box with
like
a
one
black
day.
turtleneck.
No,
and
she recorded one day in a black fucking room.
Just staring at a camera. She didn't really even have to act.
Now, in all fairness, though,
earn that check. You think she bought another car with it?
Look, Adrienne King didn't do much better. She came back. Alice from the first one.
Yeah.
She was in more movie, but she still was only on that set 2 days.
Yeah.
So she didn't.
And a lot of her shit is cut in between them recapping the first stuff.
Yes,
So
she's,
really, it's only like 4 minutes.
It's not very much
of her in the actual movie.
You got to give her credit. All unscripted. The conversation with the mom.
Oh,
she
nice.
just came up with that on the fly. Fake phone call.
I would do. That's what I'd have the actor do. I'd be like, look, just pretend you're talking to your fucking mom.
Well, because
however your mom would talk to you, just go for it.
Because they just needed suspense, right?
Yeah.
They just needed. They were like, look, it doesn't matter what you're doing. The camera's going to do the work of making it feel suspenseful.
If she tried to channel actually talking to her mom, I feel bad because she's just like, fuck you, mom, shut up, leave me alone.
No, but she's also right to her mom. She was like, I went through a horrific experience. I'm allowed to have
just
time.
gonna brush this shit off and get over it.
I'm allowed to feel sorry for myself for a minute because the flashback at the beginning here, we do have to address, is only supposed to be like a month, or something after the first movie. It's not very long. It's very recent. She's literally just gotten out of the hospital,
right?
So I mean, she's not had enough time.
to process.
She's definitely well within her right to
yet.
be PTSDing on the bed all day,
right?
Man, what a different time 1981 was for them to that. Mom was probably not even supposed to be that crazy of a lady. She was probably supposed to be the reasonable parent talking to the teenage daughter.
You should really just, like, kind of get over it, honey. And, you got to be...
Life moves on.
Yeah,
even if your boyfriend and every person
all of my friends are dead.
Slaughtered.
In horrific fashion.
And nobody believes
also,
you about how it happened.
On top of it, I had to cut a woman's head off.
But again, nobody believes you that it happened.
I know. They're like, yeah, okay.
Sure, honey.
Sure it happened.
Sure. Because as this movie points out to us, he stole her body before the cops could, or at least her head before the cops could get it. And the shirt.
And cleaned up all the rest of the bodies, I guess.
And the machete. No, the first one, no, I guess you're right. But they only mentioned that one. You're right. They only mentioned that for half a second, though. But you are right. Ted at the bar, he talks about it like the only thing that happened was that she fell in the water. That she was crazy.
Because he's like, we're supposed to be fucking
worried
scared because some crazy chick fell out of a boat 5 years ago.
But even if that's true, like, there would at least be a giant 10-person missing person case.
Yeah.
Missing adults.
Right? It's a cold case, man. We never found anything. Just traces of blood all over the campsite. So
I guess we'd have to actually...
There we go. Let's reboot this, but let's do it in the style of like a First 48, that TV show.
Listen,
where like do it from the cops' perspective, like the day after, and they find all the stuff, and they got to try and figure out what happened.
Listen, hold that thought. Let's get through the other like 3 people I even want to mention. There's not a lot here. Most of these people weren't in a lot of things. The only other person we still need to mention from the first movie, there's one more. You know who it is?
It's one more Doom character. Guy.
Crazy Ralph.
You're all doomed.
Walt Gorney.
Wow, what a fucking name.
Crazy Ralph.
My favorite character from the first one.
Somehow
fucking bringing it back
still hiding in the closet, even if it was dead this time, right? It was still the pantry. It was in the same pantry.
Thing.
Same thing. Same good.
It's the pantry. I didn't catch that.
Got his last scare in the same way he got his jaunts off in the first one.
He should have listened to his own advice. He kept telling everybody they were doomed for going up there.
He was being a creepy peeping Tom, too.
True enough.
He went against the rules.
That's why
you do dirty things.
This is what happens in horror movies. You shouldn't follow your dick. Bad things happen.
And so he was being that creepy dude, so he had it coming. You gotta say that much about it. The only other people that I think we should mention is just our new last girl.
Yeah, Jenny,
right? So that's Amy Steele. Again,
that's a nice name. I like that. That's cool.
Not in a lot of other things because she didn't come back. Like Adrian King came back to do the Alice scene at the beginning of this one.
Yeah.
They offered her to do that for 3.
Yeah.
She didn't.
No, they just replay the footage from this one.
But they were gonna have her come back and do the same kind of thing. Like, she was gonna be crazy, maybe a little bit more in the hospital, something, right?
Straight jacket.
Something. Her agent was like, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that.
Don't listen to him. He's an idiot.
No, 20 years later, that's what she's on record to be like, yeah, it was probably the dumbest advice I ever followed.
Yes, it fucking was.
Well, because she didn't get more work after this.
Exactly.
She was like, at least then, even if I wouldn't have got more work, like, it's another, like, this is people love this. People love this franchise, and I'd at least have one more connection.
And I would have been in 3. I'd have been in a 3D one.
Well, and the one where he becomes Jason.
Jason with the mask
that
everybody knows.
This is a potato sack.
Potato sack, overalls, and a flannel shirt. He's dressed like
wind.
He's dressed like our grandpa.
Right. Let's see. And then the last person we should mention, Paul.
Fuck Paul.
Well, the only reason, again,
I know, but fuck Paul.
He's like the mainest of main characters.
Yeah, he's the adult.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah.
He's like the...
Well, like, think about it. In the first one, that dude still doesn't get that much screen time. So he gets more screen time than the original adult of camp. Yeah, mustache guy.
I can't remember his name.
So Paul's a little bit better, but not better. Paul's a horrible... he's a closeted, horrible human being.
Yeah.
Right? He's trying to hide that he's super horrible. Now, those are the only people that I think, because again, most of these people are not the number of people I saw that were in one random episode of soap operas or other random TV shows from this cast is insane. But that's about it. And again, not knocking you, I've not been in a random episode of a soap opera.
I was on an episode of Monday Night Raw.
There you go, but you don't get residuals. They probably get residuals.
I was just in the crowd.
See what I'm saying? So again, that's what I'm saying. I've not done what they've done, right? Like they still are better than me in the realm of people might know them from that episode of TV show they did. There is one other person that I know. You know, like I always like to mention, like again, not a guy who's done a lot of things, but I recognize
you fucking
him.
recognized him. That's all that matters, man.
Stuart Charno. You're not gonna know that name, I promise. And if you do, kudos to you, because I didn't know his name.
10 points in the comment section for you.
I just knew of him because when you see him, you're like, man, that's a look. Weird. He's weird looking. He's tall and scrawny and
redheaded, but sneaky in shape. Did you see him when he had the shit on? He had like abs and stuff. I was like, holy shit, nerd.
But yeah, so Stuart Charno, he played Ted, he's like our comic relief guy. He's our gags.
He's always telling stupid jokes.
Class clown, but we're not in class, right? Like he's that guy. He was also in the movie. Oh man, why I was just talking to you about this. Why did it just fly out of my head? Just one of the guys. The 80s movie.
I was like, I
know. Well, I know.
Either.
That's why I was like, you're not helping.
I'm over here. I'm like, you just told me. Why can't I remember?
You know, like again, it's the notorious one where the girl was pretending to be a boy and flashes her best friend to prove she. If you are of a certain age, you've probably seen it on Comedy Central or TBS or somewhere. TNT. Or you get what I'm saying. It was played a lot in the early 90s and now is maybe questionable on whether right. Once you get to would you play this character as would you do that with the boy? Would you let the boy be hanging out in the girl's locker room like she hung out in the boy? No. And so once we live in an era now where this one by proxy is less likely.
Disney Channel do a movie like this with like a soccer player,
but not in the locker room. They found reasons for
her to not go in the locker room.
But that is kind of a plot point in some of this one that there's like,
So there's a lot of dick in here.
But yeah, Stuart Charno was in that. He is a reptile. He's the not best friend, but he's like the only other friend she can make when she's trying to be a boy, and he's always hanging out with a reptile on his shoulder, like right here.
I'd hang out with that.
He's like talking to it.
You know, he's got turtles.
Well, he had it's a reptile.
Did he carry a little turtle on his fucking shoulder?
I don't know if it was a turtle. I think it was an iguana.
Well, they'd be able to,
very Disney-esque.
It'd be able to hold on better.
Yeah. You know? But yeah, I love when I see those people from like a movie where I'm like, I know that guy. I don't know if everybody else knows that guy. I know that guy.
One of those guys.
Yeah. Well, just one of those guys. The movie, also William Zabka. I was like, there's a reason.
Yeah, there we go.
Zabka. You should see it because Zabka's in it. God damn it.
Being a dick, only he can.
Being Johnny, but not Johnny.
But not Johnny.
Just saying, he's not.
They called him up and was just like, you know what you did in Karate Kid? Just do that.
Just
again.
do that. No kicking.
But like no karate.
Well, do that. No kicking.
Yeah, no
exactly.
kicking.
No kicking. Same thing. No kicking. But then he wondered why people thought he was actually a douche. And it's like, because you did a couple of them, man.
Yeah, there was a few movies where you're just an asshole. When there like some like BMX movie where he's a dickhead in it.
And he's only got like one line. Like it's like, dude, you can't have that ratio.
He's a dick in the beginning of Cobra Kai now. The first few
it
episodes.
takes a little bit. It takes a little bit before he's actually decent. Yeah.
I need to finish that.
You'll get to it. I have faith in you. On that note,
especially since the new Karate Kid movie just fucking came out. It's got motherfucking Ralph Macchio in it.
Yeah.
I love seeing my boys get a check.
Well, again, he did 6 seasons of Cobra Kai. He's been getting a check.
But you get to work with Jackie Chan.
I was going to say, he's getting that Jackie Chan money
right
now.
And probably going to get like 3 other movies after this.
Maybe.
I'll be shocked. The trailers look so good.
Look, the next Karate Kid didn't get that.
The trailers look like shit in that one. I saw that one. I was like, I don't see this.
Shut up. I love the next Karate Kid. Leave that alone.
The one with Will Smith's kid?
No. Because that's actually this world.
The one with
this movie.
What's her name?
You understand that, right? This movie, the new one, the reason Jackie Chan's here is because
we're like trying to erase that other movie.
But we're not.
Never happened.
If we erased it, we wouldn't have Jackie Chan. We're acknowledging it because Jackie Chan was the mentor in that one. He's playing the same character.
Oh. I just thought we were trying to ignore that one.
Dude, if we were doing that, we would have hired Jet Li or somebody to come in.
Oh, that would be cool. No, next one. But he's the teacher of the bad guy in the next one.
But you get my point, though. The reason Jackie Chan came back is because they were saying it's literally the guy who trained. It's just that he's training a different kid. He's not training. I'm saying that the actual movie, The Next Karate Kid. That movie was just called The Karate Kid. It was just like a reboot.
Where they go to the temple and...
We're with the girl, dude. Yeah, that's The Next Karate Kid.
What the fuck is her goddamn name? Hilary Swank.
Yes.
That's bitch's name.
I'm glad you
She's
said
not
it.
a bitch, but you get what I'm saying.
I'm glad you said it because I was also struggling. I was like, I know her. She played
I did too. All I could think was like, she's in that boxing movie with fucking Clint Eastwood.
Boys Don't Cry. That's what was
Boys
in my
Don't
head.
Cry.
We both had different movies. But yeah, I was just like, I know who she is. Why can't I think of this?
We got there. We're professionals.
But yeah,
not even the fucking movie we're talking about.
Yeah, we probably need to move away from the Karate Kid. I think we're good.
One day we'll do those movies. That'll be our next big series.
Our next
we
big
start.
franchise.
Yeah.
So yeah, this movie. Now that we're full on into it, like we've already said, it's very different. It's a Jason who's grounded.
It's just a guy.
Not quite just a guy though, right? When that sack, we don't.
Yeah,
I don't
sack.
feel right calling
It's not
it a mask. When that sack comes off, he's still deformed as all fuck.
He looks. No, I laughed my ass off because I forgot. Because it shows you like a nice shot of his face. He looks like a melted Hillbilly Jim action figure.
That's from the one side,
right?
The one side makes him look,
and then the other side looks kind of like the cavemen from those commercials.
Well, so this is what I said when I see it. He looks like a cross of the people from The Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah.
Right? The hillbillies.
The hillbillies.
And like the Toxic Avenger. Because it's like
where it's
bulbous
like
and
big, huge bulbous eye. And then the
inbred
redneck
there was
over
no
here.
hair growing on that one section of head and scalp. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It almost looked like a giant tumor. Yeah. So to me, I'm always like...
It's the Elephant Man.
Almost. Yeah, exactly.
I am not an animal.
Well, because that was their explanation for the one eye hole.
Yeah, it's because one eye was like...
on the deformed side.
Yeah, and it probably didn't work anyway.
I like that they at least did put the thought into why one eye hole. Because no one knows for sure, this isn't on record anywhere, but we all have eyes, and we should acknowledge that they stole that.
Yeah.
I mean, I already said this. They stole the look.
Yeah, they ripped it off of the town that dreaded sundown.
Yeah,
right? That's
exactly.
what it's called. He had two eye holes.
He had two eye holes in his sack.
It is legally
it's the
distinct.
Same thing. It's a plaid.
The plaid shirt pattern is slightly different.
But other than that,
it's just enough.
I think maybe he's not in overalls. It might just be regular blue jeans. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're like, essentially, though, they're mimicking
the same guy. It's
yeah,
like he just kind of. That's why his mom thought he was dead. He fucked off and went to that other town, killed all those
two
people.
eye holes for a little bit, came back and was like, I can't let people know who I am. One eye hole this time. Bo, I think we just figured it out. We found the secret backdoor connection.
Yep, there we go. That's why all this happened.
Friday the 13th.
He floated down the river and ended up in that town when he was a kid. That's why. And then he just kind of wandered back just in time to see his mom get her head cut off.
Friday the 13th Part 2 is actually the secret sequel to two movies.
Yeah.
This one and the town that dreaded sundown. Fuck, man.
Perfect.
I love it. I absolutely love that. But yeah, I mean, so this Jason... It's funny, right? So the first movie, rip off of Halloween, is what it was designed to be. Again, it became its own thing.
Yeah, and it had the nice twist at the end where it's his mom. It's great.
This one, visually, a rip off
of that one. But then we're just kind of going to do the same thing we did in the first movie and kill a bunch of camp counselors.
And, like a slasher, but not even... So we do, at least in this one, get a machete for the first time.
Yep.
So that's great because that becomes staple.
We get two good kills. We get the throat slash and poor Mark.
There was a machete in the first one. The mom used it. I'm not trying to downplay that because we see it. It's hers. It's at the end of this one even. You know, the rusty one it was on the shrine. But what I'm saying is this is the first time Jason uses a machete. But he still just uses it as a one and done. Every weapon in this is a one and done. Did you notice that? Like anytime he uses something, It's done.
It's gone.
He never uses again.
Never brandishes. He uses the fucking knife to slit one dude's throat. Uses the machete to kill Mark.
No, listen. He has a
spear to kill one dude.
He has a knife, a machete, a spear, a pitchfork, a pickaxe.
A pickaxe. I forgot about the pickaxe.
I don't understand why this man he has like every fucking hard labor utensil.
Right.
A hammer. He hits one dude with a hammer.
Fucking cop. He gets him with the hammer, right? It was just fucking claw first, right in the back of the head. I love that shot.
Again, it adds to the grounded, though. Yeah. Right? Like, the guy is just using rusted out
whatever
tools
is to hand.
that he can find, right? But the other thing I felt that's weird about both this one and the first one, like, it's the other thing that they kind of share that makes them tied together that the rest of them don't do, right? The rest of the franchise is officially full-on 80s slasher, right? There's no rules. It's just silly. The only rule is if they get fucked up, they die.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if they have a good time, they're out of here. But this is when it was still just a little bit different. The first movie, and for some weird reason in this movie, had the weird whodunit aspect of it. Right, like you don't in the first one, you don't know who's killing, and so you're constantly. They want you to think it's the
mustache guy or somebody else or the Doom dude.
They kind of do that in this one because we don't actually know it's Jason. Everybody keeps telling the story like that's fake.
Yeah,
we don't believe that.
We have a whole campfire scene about it.
Well, and again, as viewers, us, me and you, we never lived in a world where that wasn't. Where we didn't know it's definitely Jason.
Yeah, but when this movie first came out.
When 2 came out, no one would have assumed the kid was alive.
Yeah.
You would have been right there with the counselors laughing about the idea of the kid being a beast boy in the woods, your first time ever sitting down. So this one is like a whodunit. It's just that from our context, it's harder to see that. But if you think about it, Paul always wears plaid.
Oh, he does.
Blue plaid
even.
Scott wears the same kind of boots.
Yeah.
Somebody else is always wearing the same kind of jeans. Dude, I'm telling you, like there are these little things that
it was Ted. It was Ted the whole time.
Could have been, because I love that you say that. Another thing I wanted to talk about, and it's good that you said it, because if not, I might not have gotten back there with our new format. Ted's one of our special people in the franchise. You know what makes Ted special?
He lived.
Not only he lived, which is definitely it.
Yeah.
Usually, if you introduce someone at the campgrounds
they die.
In the Friday the 13th movie, they're a goner. On top of that, he drank and was fucked up.
Yeah,
all night long. And survived.
And went somewhere else because at the bar he looks at those 2 old guys. He's like, "Is there an after hours place?"
Well, that's the only reason that he survived, because he got more fucked up. That never happens.
There's a line. You got to get beyond fucked up before Jason doesn't fuck with you.
What's funny to me is that in my head and in my notes, right? Like I made a point. Like I already knew that he was the only one that survived, right? I forgot the number of like counselors we don't act. You mean like
they just
kind
of disappeared? There was like there's like an Asian girl that just she's one shot and then she's gone.
We knew nobody else in the truck. That's my point. Like all of them that we knew names of, that we were introduced to at roll call.
I was just saying
we're at the campground.
The meeting episode scene. That's where you get introduced to our main characters because they each get a name because. Paul's like, you.
Everybody else are the
but
ones.
There's like 10 other fucking people.
They're the ones that he was bitching about being late. Remember, he said a bunch of when the rest of my set. It wasn't just Jenny. He just was pissed off about her because he's banging her.
Yeah,
but I mean, he literally meant that. Obviously, there's like bunch of them.
Like 10 other people ain't here yet. So, and then they just disappear.
What's funny is in my notes when we see that bar when they all pile the scene we made fun of about their seats in that fucking Volkswagen. Why'd they pile like that into the truck? When I saw that in my notes, I was like, oh look, there goes Ted and all of the red shirts. And then I was like, but wait a minute, are they the red shirts, or are the people we watch the red shirts? Or are we just seeing it from the other perspective? Because red shirts die because they're inconsequential, right? These are the people that make it. They're just
they're blue shirts. Then they're like science officers. They made it.
Captains.
Yeah,
I mean they're not
command gold
security. Although that's red. Thankfully, they make that switch later.
Yeah. I was talking for Kirk's time period.
I know. Well, that's where the red shirt comes from, exactly. But yeah, I was just, it was a moment where I just had to stop and be like, oh yeah, that's not it.
No,
like they're inconsequential because they're the ones that matter. Who make it. In any other story, they're who we follow.
Yeah.
It's only this story where we're like, we're gonna follow the dumb fucks who made the worst calls, which again they did. You're a bunch of young teenagers in a state where it's obviously legal for you to drink, and it looked like the boss might have been paying it for like for a while until he left, at least.
Fucking
right?
Ted had a fucking pile of beers in front of him. He was fucked up.
So again, I'm just saying, like, why would you not be going? Although it was because they were the horny teenage. Right? Yeah. That was the funniest part. The ones that stayed, we know why they stayed. They were all trying to get randy with each other. They were trying to get down. It was about to happen again, and it was their downfall. Yeah, right. Like, and so every single one, you just watch them one by one. I was really rooting for Mark and Vicky.
I was too, man. I
thought they were going to make it, and they were being wholesome at first.
Right.
He kept shooting down her sexual advances but not in like a mean way, in a very polite, like trying to just pretend like he didn't even notice that she was doing it, right?
He's just like, I'm in a wheelchair. You don't want to fuck with this.
Basically, right? He was just trying to be like, I'm too much.
You're being nice right now. It's fine. You don't have to do that.
So it was just
But no, she's just like, no, motherfucker, I want that dick.
No, but even before that, but before that, she already sealed the deal before that. What was it? You not remember? She pulled out the weed. She pulled out the joint.
Yeah.
They weren't even before the bone-in. She fucked up the two rules.
I forgot about
that. There are 2
two
rules in a horror movie. In an 80s horror movie.
Yep.
It is both don't fuck, but also don't smoke weed.
Don't smoke weed.
Don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs.
Nancy Reagan. It's the Nancy Reagan effect. Don't do drugs.
When we do Scream, we'll get the comprehensive list.
We'll have Jamie Kennedy wrap it up for us.
We'll just put that scene in the video. We'll just cut it in right there. He can do it for us.
But yeah, so they messed up as soon as that came out, which I thought was wild because I was like, Vicky didn't strike me as the type.
Right.
Were you surprised?
No, I was. She just pulls the joint out, like I was like, maybe a cigarette because it's the 80s and everybody smoked, but she just pulls this weed out. She's like, "Toke?" He's like, "No, I'm in training."
And as we hear from Paul, later, not only did she have it, she had the best stuff.
Fucking kids smoke better weed than me. Jesus.
I love Paul for that. Right? I hate Paul for everything else.
But that was line good. He picks it up and goes, "Ooh."
Yeah, dude, that was so good. That was hashtag relatable, right? As the kids say, right? Or probably not even, as the kids used to say.
Yeah, probably.
I gotta be at least. I'm probably one.
It's probably
one separated away from kids
stupid
today.
Word
right?
now that we wouldn't even recognize.
Oh, definitely. I'm sure it's some word that we would hashtag not relate to.
Right? Skibbity boo wop wop ba doo wah, or whatever the fuck kids do nowadays.
But yeah, I did appreciate the connection back to that smoking scene. But yeah, Mark and Vicky were out of everybody that died, the ones that I probably the most were like, man, they didn't deserve it. Everybody else, dude,
kind of assholes. Well, Jeff's not an asshole.
No, Jeff was trying to be reasonable.
Yeah, he was trying to be like, I don't want to go. I want to follow the rules.
And he fell victim to just being horny.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's the only thing. Now, Sandra, on the other hand,
she was just
trying to break the rules and get arrested.
And use her fucking tits to get what she wants. She's like, oh, no, we're going to go do it because if you want some of this.
Well, and again, that's the only reason he agreed. Come on now.
Wrong
horny
head.
Teenager.
Wrong head.
Yeah, get
I know it has a mind of its own, but
you in trouble every time.
You got to ignore that shit. He is stupid.
Mark was doing good though until the very end, right? He shot her down every time, but then she was just like, "Look, come on,
come on,
we're doing this. It's gonna be here. It's gonna be there. It's gonna be somewhere.
We'll find a cabin, right? Like this is gonna happen, buddy."
Now the rain was what cracked me up, like the storm that rolled through, because I was like, well, I guess that shot him down. Like, it had to be hard enough for Mark to push that wheelchair on dirt paths.
It's like, I'm stuck here now.
It's a sludge mud. No. He ain't going nowhere.
Cut to her just dragging him through the mud.
She was that
covered
determined.
in shit.
She was that determined.
Still in her fucking little panties and stuff.
Now, I want to ask you if you saw this, because this is one of those things, like I watched the movie a couple of times, and usually what I do is I'll watch it once or twice before I do the notes, right? Research.
Mm-hmm. That's what I do.
Well, so that way, especially when I do the research, like there might be things I would have noticed on my own, and I was like, I saw something weird about that, right? Did you notice the amount of like realism it felt like when like Vicky was coming on to Mark, like she, like the way she'd look at him and she got up in real life, that actress was attracted to him.
So
he's gay.
And
she didn't find out until after production was done. So like those
those
scenes were probably her really trying to be like
really trying to bang him and him being like, bitch, stop it.
Like we're acting right now.
Girl, back up.
not I'm not the one.
Right. Damn, feel bad for her now. I was rooting for that. Like, I was hoping you were going to be like, oh, they got together off camera. You know,
Mark and Vicky for
and
real.
They're like married to this day. They got like 8 kids.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to bring you up and then bring you down because that wasn't an intention there. I was just trying to
ruin her.
Just trying to provide an interesting fact.
That is interesting though. Just not where I wanted it to go.
I know. We all have hopes and dreams, and sometimes people like me shatter them unknowingly.
Oh well.
At least it wasn't knowingly. At least I wasn't like. At least it wasn't like I'm building Bo up. You see how excited he is.
Look at his face. Look at that sparkle in his eyes. I'm gonna kill it.
Shatter it like a stained glass window. On shattering windows, that gets us to the end.
There we go.
Jumping through the window.
Jumping through the fucking window. It was good. I liked this whole bit. You think it's over because we've done the whole thing in the shack with the shrine and the head, right?
I like the whole bit for a very specific reason. And it's because Jason doesn't kill dogs.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
And F this movie for making people who haven't seen the rest of the franchise think that he does for like 20 minutes. Because they even stumble onto another dead dog.
They found a mutilated corpse of a dog.
They stay far enough away from it, you can't see a side. You know, like we don't know anything as the viewer.
Even Jeff's like, oh, it's mutilated. You can't tell if it even is really a dog.
Right? So I hated that they made you think he did it. Because that actually... By 8, which is my favorite one in the franchise, that is a joke in the franchise. Jason does
not kill dogs.
No, he's not that kind of guy.
He's not that kind of monster. He's a monster, sure, but he's not a monster.
He doesn't kill kids because he relates to them. Yeah. And he doesn't kill dogs.
He just kills horny, drunk teenagers.
Goddamn right. And maybe the adults as chaperone.
Yeah, maybe.
But definitely,
he's never killed a priest or anything. You know, he's not Is he rampaged through a church?
I don't think so. I don't think so. He's woke up in cemeteries. He went to hell? No, because I mean, he was just resurrected through a hospital.
Yeah, we'll get to those.
Yeah, but yeah, like so, I was very. There's one of those things in the movie where again, like. I hate that people who don't just know that about him might think that he killed that little tiny muffin.
Muffin is so cute. Muffin. Had a little bow in its hair.
So I really do appreciate the end for bringing Muffin back. Right? Yeah. Like it was totally, we needed that. Especially
that's why he jumped through the window. He wanted that dog.
Well, and it was...
That was his friend.
No, stop it. Well, and it was very much needed after the craziness of the shrine and Paul showing back up after being murdered? Presumably dead already.
We didn't see it, I guess.
But dude, come on now. If you roll on the floor with Jason and he stands back up...
Yeah, you're fucked. You're dead. He ripped your throat out.
Yeah, the levity of seeing Muffin come back was...
The music even changes.
Well needed.
The music before they go to the door is all... And then they open the door and it turns into like hopeful harp piano music. Well, and it's just like, oh, yay, it's the dog.
Well, because right before that you have, again, when Betsy Palmer showed back up for her brief
cameo
moment of like the overdub of Jenny creepily it's fucked up that it worked.
Yeah.
For as long as it did. B, she screwed up because she didn't kill him. If you're going to take Jason down, you look for those obvious signs. You know, dismemberment.
Yeah. You gotta take the head completely off.
She didn't even do that. I mean, it was in the shoulder.
Yeah, just like straight through the collarbone down into his chest.
You could survive that.
Yeah.
I mean, this wasn't even hulking beast Jason, but this dude probably could have survived it.
Yeah, it's like, your arm might not work right afterward a little bit, but there's no vital or... Well, I mean, if he bled out, there's an artery there.
So I don't think any of us were surprised that he came back.
He wouldn't have bled out. The machete's still in him. He left it in, so it's blocking the thing. Totally fine.
Well, again, like I said, I don't think any of us were surprised that he came. Right? You know what I mean? Like when you see even Not because we know the franchise still exists, but like trying to give yourself the.
Oh yeah,
like,
even
I live
if
in a
I was
world
like,
where I didn't know this.
if I was in a theater and shit, I was like, something's about to happen.
Yeah, that killer's
There ain't
coming
no fucking
back,
way
right?
There's no way we're ending this movie on the happy found the dog note bullshit.
Absolutely not, right? Well, and the intensity right before it, right? Because she's like braced with the pitchfork against.
Right. I love that shot. She's
dude. I mean, if he'd have came through the door,
yeah,
she'd have got him.
but she would have came up
But
behind her.
well, she'd also already put the
Yeah, she
pitchfork
put it down,
'cause
was
the
holding the dog.
Poor Muffin.
He wanted that dog. I'm telling you.
I'm telling you, Muffin's okay.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, dude. Jason took care of that dog.
No, Muffin's
treats
okay.
Treats it like a princess.
Oh yeah, that's fine. I believe that. I can believe that.
It's his dog now.
Oh, now that's his real motivation.
Yeah,
he wanted Muffin.
exactly.
Give
me my goddamn dog back.
Every counselor death,
Exactly.
Paul, Ginny,
All of them.
all.
Where's my fucking cutesy bootsy?
None of this was a delusion because of his dead mother. This was all because he wanted the dog.
I want to re-edit. I want to re-edit it. I want to go back to the bit where Betsy Palmer is. I want to put the dog in front of her face and have her.
It's the one talking
instead. Oh, that would be so good.
No, you're a good boy,
You're
Jason.
a good boy, Jason.
You've done everything I required
exactly.
of you.
Keeps
Just
the same
dog
dialogue, but it's just the dog going like this.
I like it, dude. I like it. All right. On that, I think that is a perfect way to get to our new segment.
Our new segment.
Which is just, I guess we need to brainstorm a name for the segment. Clever name. Until then, though, it's just the segment where we talk
My
about...
immersion is broken.
Yeah, well, sure. I think we need clever, like catchy. That's not maybe not catchy. We don't need to do it on the spot, Bo. Don't box us in.
I'm gonna think about it.
That's the way. That's the ticket, sir. That's the ticket. But yeah, this is the part where, like we did last week, what's the thing that takes you out the most? The thing where you're like, man, I could maybe. And again, for every type of movie, this is probably going to be a little bit different, right? Because obviously, the thing that takes us out of a historical realism movie is going to be way different than the thing that takes us out of an 80s slasher movie. Those are way wildly different worlds.
I'm happy. I'm excited for this one because mine is stupid.
Well, it would have to be though, right?
Yeah,
if it's not going to be the plot itself, it has to be something.
Mine is so.
Well,
dumb.
And it won't be the plot. That's my point. Like the plot would never be what we picked because
Yeah.
me and you can easily put ourselves into those worlds.
Yeah, that's
so it's
fine.
going to be something else that's wild and weird. So, Bo, what's the thing?
Okay, we got to go back to the very beginning of this movie. Back with Alice, and she's going through her house. She just got done talking to her mom. She walks past her refrigerator. There's a watermelon on top of the refrigerator that somebody, for some reason, thought was so fucking important to have in the shot that they cut it flat so it would sit up on top of at an angle, even at a jaunty melon angle. Like a jaunty melon angle. They've cut a flat spot.
Like a wave splashing out
Yes,
of the
so
water.
I'm like, every time I see it, I'm like, why? Why is the melon so important to be on the fridge? So mine's stupid as fuck. It is
the set was also being used for an art class. That's just what they needed for the people sketching that day, Bo. They were working.
They weren't the only one using this kitchen set.
They were working on doing their foreshading and stuff. They just needed to.
But it does, because you can clearly see it. It's got a flat cut on it, so it'll stay up on top of that. Fucks with me every time.
Again, it does. There's no rhyme nor reason.
No, there's
Last week, mine was about salted hats, Bo. There's no rhyme nor reason.
No, there's no wrong answers, man.
There's just what takes you personally out. Again, we want to see these in the comments. What's the thing that takes you guys out of it?
Yeah, right. Yes, there we go. You people tell us your fucking broken.
What breaks?
Yeah,
all,
what breaks
like,
the game break or whatever.
Yeah,
we'll come up with
again.
something.
We're gonna brainstorm this idea. What?
We'll come up with something cool or stupid.
For me personally, it is a fun thing that actually ties into the very last scene of the movie. Since we didn't even
nice.
we've not talked about it yet.
Now we'll go back to the end.
Great way to wrap up.
Fuck yeah, it is.
which I guess every week it won't work that way, guys. My
this
favorite
might
thing
be the only
the
one.
thing that takes me out of the movie every week is not going to be the last thing that we see.
I'd call bullshit if it was literally the last scene of every movie. I'd be like, come on, man.
By week 3, you would be like,
you're full of shit.
Are you picking the movies based on that now?
We can't do that. We're like 5
No,
deep
I know. At this point, we're
already planned out.
I would have had to have secretly been planning this conversation with you.
Hey, man, that long-term booking. I appreciate that. He's been planning this shit for years.
But my favorite thing that's in the movie that definitely, well, not favorite. That was a flub on lines. The thing that takes me out the most, but I guess for me, because I'm that kind of dork. Like I like things like that.
I pop for it.
Yeah, I enjoy it. Like as much as like you said, you hate seeing it, but at the same time, you're like,
it wouldn't be the same
people now if I.
Are you like me? You got to point it out to other people when you see it. Like, check out the watermelon.
So the thing that takes me out the most, but it is also the thing that I'll point out to everybody when I see it now, is that last thing that we see. It's a zoom in shot far out, like outside
like slow
of the house
tracking
even,
shot,
right?
like they just zoom in to the shrine of Mrs. Voorhees' head,
and it's the head, different head.
Yeah, it's not the same head.
You can clearly tell it's not the same head, and it's it just looks different.
Yeah, but it's not Betsy Palmer.
Yeah, well, it's not a fake Betsy. Like, it wasn't even, like they never had Betsy Palmer. Their makeup
for a casting and all that shit.
They just decorated some dummy head up.
It's rotten. Nobody will know.
Exactly.
It's not like we have 4K.
This one though, like as
now.
they're zooming in, you're just like, okay, well, I know that that's supposed to be that head, but it definitely doesn't look like what we saw.
Yeah,
before.
There's something.
And I guess it was bad. You know, like you second guessed yourself. You're like, it was bad lighting. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it is. The closer it gets, though, like one of the key differences you might notice is that when you see the head in the movie, mouth closed.
Yeah.
This one, mouth slightly open, just not like,
just enough.
Not like not gaping.
Like the bitch from The Ring.
Yeah, not gaping. But just enough, like the teeth are showing, like the lips have like
just
receded.
Enough for you to notice it.
Yeah.
Like wait,
and they are so very clearly a person's teeth, and I don't mean like it's real teeth put into
it
is a person.
They're doing the whole like I'm in a box with just my head sticking out thing.
And the reason for that, doing that, because again, the movie stops right there when it gets close enough and freeze frames, and I mean
dead stops, just
like not digital, because this would have been analog, but analog freeze frames, right? Like they literally like cut the thing, but then kept rolling a machine while it was on the one thing, and you can tell because it's that jarring kind of stop,
just kind of
where you're like, what's wrong with my TV, right? Like, you know, it's
did
got
my
that
video
weird
fucking freeze? Why is there no spinning wheel?
And it's not their fault. That's just how it felt in the 80s. That's why sitcoms would do live freeze frames, right? Like they would just keep rolling while the people stopped moving, because it didn't feel as jarring as how this felt. But the reason why it ends on a freeze frame and not just like keep rolling, because they could have. I mean, again, like they could have just put the still head there and done a solid roll, no stop. A person is there and there's a freeze frame because at some point Steve Miner had a thought to himself, we're going to be super kitsch with this. And at the end, she's going to smile.
I mean, I get it, because when I watch it every time, I'm waiting for like the eyes to open or something. It seems
like a wink.
Yeah, like an eye open, something is supposed to happen here, but then it just kind of
like the kind of thing you would expect in an Evil Dead movie, but not in this franchise, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
especially the TV show Evil Dead.
I get it.
Definitely something that would happen.
But so yeah, right before it was finally done, he was just like,
that's
feeling like that's not the way to go.
A little too much. It's a decapitated head. There's no way.
But
let's keep it in some realism here.
He cut that, and it is now the reason why fans question the death of Paul, right? Because like we said, the movie ends. We had what was our last girl and possibly last guy, right? But when he dives through the window, he goes for Paul. She screams for Paul. She wakes up in a mimicry of the first one, like the way the canoe scene ends, right? Yeah. She wakes up being wheeled off. They're like, "You're nuts, bitch!
Yeah,
no way dove through the window."
There's no Paul. What are you talking about?
And so again, it's so funny how much they tried to mimic the first one with things like that.
Well, I said that earlier. I was like, they just kind of like, we're gonna do the same thing, but
a little bit different. Exactly.
Just gonna still kill a bunch of counselors around a camp.
And exactly. And so
this
like
camp happens to be like 500 feet away from the other one too.
With this one, with the way it cuts here, where she doesn't the where the dummy head doesn't give a smile, we don't technically know what happened to Paul. Like nobody tells her he's dead. We don't see, we don't see a covered body being wheeled out. So we have no body bags laying beside the ambulance or anything. We have no way to know Paul died, right?
Yeah.
In all fairness, though, if Jason survived, we wouldn't know anyway because he's obviously dragging the body. He's got a new place since it can't be the shrine.
Yeah, he can't go back to his shack.
That was where he was taking them.
Yeah.
We saw.
He had Terry
bodies,
Scott and fucking shit.
Even Alice. Alice was there.
Was Alice there? I
if
missed
you go
her.
Back, she's decayed, so the body you can't recognize by the clothes. The ice pick is still in the forehead.
See, this is why I hate having to watch shit on my phone.
Me and you can watch it together on this because I rented the 4K.
Ooh, crisp, clean
and you
footage.
Can really see that stuff.
I bet. That's awesome, though.
But yeah, so yeah, she was there. So that's what I mean. Like, we know that he's hiding the bodies. Yeah. So Paul's body would be gone anyway. But that, again, we technically don't know. And fans say that if we would have had a cut where the smile's there.
Yeah, would have been like.
No, it's the hint to be like, oh,
mother is happy.
Well, and it continues.
Yeah.
I got what I wanted.
I got Paul. I'm happy now. Jason's just going around fulfilling this perverted sexual desires of the severed head of his mother. I want all the young boys.
I mean, sure. This was the movie that was all about psychology.
Yeah, that's the super dark version of this.
That's probably what Ginny would tell you.
She would, yeah. She'd probably break it down like that.
Right?
It's like a reverse Freudian symbol, right?
She was the one that was definitely convinced that, again, he's not just homicidal. There's got to be a
reason. He's like, I mean, imagine he grew up in the woods.
What's his motivation?
And then he saw his mother killed, and he would have had like no concept of death until that point. And then suddenly, I'm gonna call him a fucking.
All that being said,
mentally disabled.
All that being
nice.
No, she the hard hit of that. Yeah, Ginny is a problem. But beyond even all that, thankfully Ginny got that out of the way because after this movie, they said, "Fuck it to the wind. We're just going full slasher." There's
right.
This dude
because we gotta do 3D.
Right. Well, this dude can survive whatever's thrown at him.
He
we
just
don't
pulls
care
the
anymore.
hatchet out.
Yeah.
Kind of stitches it back on.
Again, going back to the let's mimic Michael Myers. Like they said, okay, look. The town that dreaded sundown wasn't the one to do.
Yeah.
Let's go back to our Halloween roots. Because again, 3 is where the jumpsuit comes in.
Yeah.
3 is where the hockey mask comes in. Jumpsuit.
The machete gets used a lot more in the third one.
Again,
this is where the actual the third one is where the Jason lore really starts.
Yes, exactly. Like it'll be the fun one for us to really dive into next because it's the one where it's like, okay, now we can talk about what you guys all want us to talk about.
We should get some hockey masks. We'll do the whole.
Certainly, at least for some like promotional
pictures and shit.
Yeah, right. Yeah. We have to. I don't think I could sit here for an hour, even at our short run time. I don't think I could sit here.
The audio would sound shit, dude. It'd be so hard to drink. We'd have to keep lifting the fucking masks and shit.
Yeah, like I said, I think that might be a step too far for recording.
Yeah, a little bit.
But for pictures,
we could cut like mouth holes out.
But for some, I
mean, you drink beer through a straw? Does that fuck with it any? Have you ever?
You get drunker drinking through a straw.
We should try that one time. We should drink beer through a fucking crazy twisty straw.
Because it's all to do with the amount of oxygen.
Yeah.
God bless college health class.
Woohoo!
Probably the last class somebody should have been teaching that in. But here.
If you want to get drunk faster, here's some five helpful tips.
There were at least 3. I don't remember the third. One is if you're gonna drink out actual like hard alcohol, mix it with soda. The carbonation helps it's a weird between the sugar breakdown and the carbonation, you get drunker.
So why Jack and Coke fucks me up worse than just a regular bourbon?
Yep.
And
then 2 was the straw in the beer.
Nice.
Or any booze.
It just seems wrong though.
I'm just telling you.
Drinking a beer through a straw.
It
Like
does.
seems like something sacrilegious about that.
I agree.
Like my ancestors will be upset with me.
Certain hops, I feel like we could also then continue going through once it starts.
I mean,
right?
that mango one we had.
would 100%
would 100% been
once
better
it
through
started,
a straw.
it would have just kept itself
Yeah.
going, siphon style.
There we go.
Right, like
That would've
siphoning
been-
gas style. Yeah,
Maybe like the super like fruity flavored ones or straw, okay, but
Yeah.
like your regular ones, no, don't do that. Did we ever tell them what beer we're drinking?
I don't
think we did.
You better tell them now. No,
Oh
I
my-
think because we broke format.
Yeah, we did.
went straight to the
we
movie.
went straight to the movie.
Guys, we apologize.
Oh my
right now.
God.
God bless this being a short episode.
for real.
So that way they.
I'm so sorry. This is usually my job too. We're doing MadTree Brewing's Psychopathy IPA. Get it? Because he's a psychopath.
Well, and because this Jason is a psychopath, right? Like,
And we
later
get the
on,
whole. And we get Jenny is the child psychologist.
Well,
or whatever
she's
they
the
keep-
one that would
Yeah,
label. She
so
would
it
use
works.
this terminology.
It works really good.
Well, again, like I
can't
said,
believe
the
we
rest
did
of
that.
them after this is when it's
Supernatural.
supernatural homicidal maniac.
Yeah, this one's like
This
guy
is a
with,
psychopath.
guy with mental problems.
This is a guy who has psychopathy.
Yeah. And it's psychopathy. Fight me. I don't care how anybody else says it. It's so much funner.
It's sophisticated.
yeah.
Psychopathy.
Psychopathy. You sound
Yeah.
stupid. Psychopathy.
Psychopathy. And we do apologize,
Yeah, we do.
MadTree, if that's how you pronounce it.
No, they're wrong. I'll even correct them. It's psychopathy, damn it.
Sorry, guys. We just had to have extra fun since we forgot
we
you.
missed
we
it,
wanted
yeah.
to give you a little bit more
got
nudge
a cool,
here.
It's got a
Well, and the
cool
beer is
tree.
good.
No, this is really good. This is one of the better IPAs we've had on the show, actually.
piney.
Yes. It's a little
Bo said that at
piney.
first, and I was like, "Okay, dude, we've
Yeah, I
already
thought I
done
was-
half baked." And
Yeah.
he goes, "No, but for
No,
real."
like,
and then
for
I
real,
finally
though.
tasted it, and I was like, "Oh."
Not like pine saw, like
No.
the cleaner, but
Or not
like
even like pine needle. It's not overwhelming.
Yeah, it's like you're-
literally like you're
it's like a
walking
smell.
through. You're walking through a
Yeah.
pine forest or something.
it's
It's
like you
good.
barely feel it on there, and it's not too bitter.
Yeah,
I
no.
really like this one.
Yeah, it's
this
good.
Is the top three IPAs.
Yes, certainly of the non-grapefruit. Because again, we both
Yeah.
like it when it gets a little grapefruity.
Mhm.
Of the no grapefruit flavor whatsoever.
Yeah, this is
This
up
is
there
great.
with the West Coast.
Yeah, I know
Brewing's
you like that
IPA.
one.
I
yeah.
like that one too.
All right, guys. Since we forgot the beer, we're immediately going to be doing that beer into the next beer. Bo.
We'll go straight into it. And I'm excited because we hit another
Just
anniversary.
this episode's for
for Friday the
2
13th.
Fridays. Two
Yep.
Fridays specials, guys. So this is going to come out on a Sunday, so that way you have it for Friday.
Yep, which is Friday the 13th. And the
And-
next one is the 50th anniversary of the release of Jaws.
On the Friday after you get to listen to
Right,
it.
so we are going to be doing the fucking beer from Jaws. We've got...
Narragansett.
Yes, I can't say... I keep wanting to call it Nanskinet.
And there's
There's not even...
there's not a second.
Yeah.
Well, there is a second in, but not where you're wanting to put it.
Where am I getting the C?
There's not a third in.
There's not a C either.
Yeah.
I'm putting the K in there. But
Narragansett.
Narragansett lager beer,
It's-
Captain Quint's choice.
Well, and again, apologies to all regular. Well, actually, I think even in normal YouTube videos for when we're maybe thinking about putting everybody. You don't have to do Patreon soon.
yeah, we can just.
We might just be putting them straight out there. This one's still for Patreon. Go ahead and show them what it looks like, though.
Oh, I love this. It's so gold and cool. It looks
Yeah.
like the can from the movie.
Exactly. No. So
Except for we don't have the cool
that's what I was going to
1970s
say. I wish they
top,
gave us a full
the pull
can.
top that just comes straight off. And it's got the little
For
that
all
one-
the
yeah.
for all the audio
No,
listeners.
super old school. You gotta get a can opener.
Yeah. For all the audio listeners, just Google it. You can see what the can looks like.
Yeah.
Just Google Narragansett
And we
Jaws.
We
You'll
have
see it.
the 1975 limited edition fucking cans. The picture on the box is
Was
like
the shark?
coming up for the chick, but it's the can.
Yeah, no, this it was totally one of those things, Bo. We were just walking through, not on one of our beer runs like
just
we do.
We were going to get food for the
For our family
reunion.
function that we told you guys about, that slowed down release.
Yeah, it did. We had some good Korean barbecue though. That
We
shit
made
was
some good stuff.
awesome.
But yeah, we were just walking through. Bo saw this and he goes, he saw the Jaws. He goes, wouldn't it be good if we could use that for Jaws? And I looked at the beer and I said, that is the beer from Jaws. And he was just like, is it?
Yeah, because I never paid that much attention to
And
what
I grab
Quint
it
was drinking.
because I just barely saw the coloring of the can. I was like, I think that's the same can from the movie.
It is, and except on the back, there's a little sticker, and I love it so much. It says "Crush it like Quint, 50th anniversary."
You got to give something that clearly shows it's modern.
Yeah.
Other than the opening.
Yeah, other than the opening. No, they should have just for 1,000 cans, man, dude.
Something.
Like your special edition. I would have fucking got.
I would have even settled if they would have given us the old school whole opening, the small,
the
not
smaller
the wide
one, not the wide mouth, when Mountain Pepsi and Mountain Dew.
This is standard now.
Yeah, I remember when they were much,
but it used to be
smaller.
it used to be a special thing.
It was U-shaped.
Yep.
Just a.
I would have even settled for that.
They opened easier.
Yeah. Well, because it didn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting boring. We need to stop this.
We're old, all right? Yeah. Fuck you all.
You guys now know the movie. You know the beer. Hopefully you come back to see that one. We're having fun with this new format. Again, before we end, I just want to reiterate, like we said in the beginning, we need feedback.
We need feedback. Talk to me.
If you've stuck around,
I'm lonely.
If you've stuck around long enough,
let me know if I'm at least funny.
If you've stuck around long enough to hear all the other dumb stuff we've said through this episode, then you're here to hear us again. Yeah. Now you know how honest this plea is.
Right.
I've drunk enough to not be anything but honest with you guys. Please,
I'm begging you, please, baby, please tell me if I'm good or not.
All right, though, before we officially go, Bo, anything you want to tell everybody?
I want everybody to like, comment, subscribe, share, go on a mountaintop, scream it to the heavens, watch Kentucky Fried Critics. And other than that, I'll see you next Friday the 13th.
This is a potato sack.